Hello, good morning. Welcome to Book Clubs and Bobbins. Um, my name is Becca, and I haven't posted in a couple weeks because I got pretty busy and I honestly just didn't have time to do anything other than work. So I'm back now, and this is a really good video, or it's going to be a really good video. I haven't done it yet. This week we are reading Only a Chapter by Heather Tracy. Um, this is a local author. I live in North Carolina. If you don't know, I also run a company called Queerolina, and my bestie Ellen, who is also one of the people that works with me in Queerolina, started a queer book club. Um, this is our first month, and she figured out which books we wanted to read for the first couple months, I think. And this was the first choice. I'm really excited to dive into it. I got it right away whenever she chose it. Um, but I kind of wanted to wait until a little closer to time because I didn't want to forget everything, and because the author is actually going to be at a book club. Also, hello, this is my cat Bagheera. He has decided that he wants attention now. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be reading this book. I'm going to be going through it. I'm actually really excited because, like, if you know me, if you've seen this channel, I don't read the synopsis. I don't read, like, reviews, except for, like, if my friend, who I know likes the same books as me, says, hey, this is good. That's it. That's all I get usually. But I did talk a little bit to Ellen about this book, and I found out that it has like two different timelines. So I'm a little excited about that, just because it's supposed to be read front to back, and it'll jump back and forth between the timelines. But Ellen is reading it all in one time and then all in the next timeline. So I'm intrigued to see how different we understand it. This is Timby, by the way, if you haven't seen him. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to dive in. I'm excited to read this one. It is only 316, nope, this is a song list, 313 pages. Now I'm ready to go. I have my water, my electrolytes, and my tea. So I'm just going to dive in, and I will see you when I have something cool to say. Okay, I've barely started this book. But first off, close up. Um, but I had to talk to you. Okay, so first off, it's called Only a Chapter, right? Um, I ordered this almost immediately after Ellen chose it for book club, right? And I didn't say this before, but it is a queer book club. So it is Queerolina, here to uplift queer voices in the area, right? That includes creating a community. That includes figuring out which authors we can support, right? So we have this book. Now, if you are in the queer community, you can see it is the bi flag, right? So, and there's a woman and a man, I'm assuming. Um, so first off, I bought this immediately, okay? And it only took a couple days to get to me, which is crazy because normally that's how long it takes to even start shipping these things. And this is why you buy local. This is why you buy small, because she wrote in it. And I mean, I know that it's generic, right? Like I know it's not like something she doesn't know me, right? But it says, to Rebecca, whatever you're going through, remember, it's only a chapter. Well, obviously it says only a chapter is the title, so it just says, remember, it's only a chapter. And then she signed it. So I will forever have a signed copy, and I got number 34. So that's kind of cool. Now, it does have trigger warnings for cancer, emotional abuse, and death of parents. So I know I'm going to cry. This is going to be great. And then just in case I forget to put it in here, so her husband's publishing company, their publishing company is spacewizardssciencefantasy.com. Okay. Um, their husband is William C. Tracy, who is amazing. We got to interview him. If you want to see a really good interview, a really good conversation, you should go search The Queer Vision on YouTube here and William C. Tracy, because we did a really good interview with him and he was amazing. He told us so many cool things about what it means to be a publisher, what it means to be an author, his timeline, his dreams, how he got to where he is, and we got to learn some really cool things about him. So yeah, that was just a little pause there for a hot second. But yeah, so this is a really cool book. So it does say that it's based off of like her own experiences a little bit and then her own dreams a little bit. And if you look at the table of contents, first off, I'm really glad that they actually have names. Like we should bring back chapter title names because it's crazy to me that they aren't there as much. But so it has like chapter 1 is the majority of the book. It has it up to page 292 is chapter 1, but it's broken up into parts. And then it moves on to a couple other chapters that are like shorter. And I already told you it's going to be like a split timeline, and I didn't know what that meant when Ellen told me, but now I think I understand. So I thought maybe it was going to be like past, present, or like whatever, but it seems like from this first page of chapter 1, it seems like it's 2 different timelines of what could happen given results. So it looks like one of them is, okay, you actually do have cancer. And in that one, she dreams of a faceless man. And then in another one, it's benign. And in that one, she dreams of a faceless woman. So one life with cancer, one life without cancer. I will be crying. Yeah, so I'm gonna go cry now. All right, I've read a chapter of each timeline. Also, I'm laughing because I laid out a blanket for my dogs, and he chose to lay on the hardwood floor in the corner. That's my Timmy. Anyway, okay. I've read a chapter of each timeline. So I'm going to start page 22 in just a minute. But so in both of them, she is in a relationship with a woman, okay, named Suze, okay. In the first chapter, or it's not chapter, in the first part, in one timeline, she has cancer. They did the biopsy, it came back positive or malignant. Yeah, malignant's the word. Came back, she has cancer, and that page, that part, that timeline starts with her packing up all the stuff while her girlfriend just plays video games and just doesn't like care. So she just decides to leave. She's like, I'm done. You're not going to take care of me anyway. Like, what's the point in staying here? I'm not happy. So it's kind of like I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over, but I'm going to figure it out. And she goes down. She has her cat. She has some bags. She goes down and she realizes she doesn't have her phone. Okay, so she has to go to the coffee shop, but then she sees a guy coming out of the coffee shop or coming out of somewhere with an umbrella. and she borrows his phone, calls her friend, gets everything scheduled to get picked up and everything. She goes in the cafe and then she's like, and then she runs to the guy and kisses him. I don't know if so whenever she kisses him, I don't know if that's because like she just like felt drawn to him because of the dream, or if this is supposed to be like, oh hey, by the way, this is actually the person in the dream, you know? Okay, and then the next timeline, the other timeline where she doesn't have cancer. So cancer timeline, non-cancer timeline. The non-cancer timeline, she goes home and she like kind of just does like what seems like would be her normal routine of like, okay, I eat food on my own and I hang out with the cat for a little bit and like wait for Suze to get done with her video gaming and all this stuff. Then she's like, it just kind of sucks because like I thought I had cancer. I was scared for a few days and she didn't really care. Like it was kind of more of a, okay, I'm just kind of relieved that I don't have to take care of you kind of relieved, not a, oh my God, the person I love doesn't have cancer. So she goes to her friend Abby, the same person that she's going to stay with in the other timeline. She goes to her house to watch a movie, and she's like, I think I might want your guest room. I think I might break up with her because it's just, I don't know, we just feel like roommates. Now I will say, one, this is enjoyable so far. I love it so far. It's it's something I've never experienced before in a book of like two different timelines from the same person. Um, Unless you're talking about like current, future, past, whatever, like timelines, that I've experienced. This I haven't experienced yet. So I'm intrigued by that. I will say in the first part where she has cancer, it flowed well, but I could see that there were some little things that she was putting in that was like, hey, this is to show that it's like going to be different than the other timeline. Like, I hardly ever charge my phone at work, so this is crazy that I forgot my phone here. And then in the next part, it was saying like, um, yeah, like I almost forgot my phone at work, but I didn't. You know, like so it is very much like it's like covering its bases almost like of like I don't know how to word what I'm saying. It's covering its bases of like here's the thoughts. It almost feels like foreshadowing from for the other timeline. I mean, a little bit for this timeline too. I don't know. It's it's good. It's good. It's interesting. But then at the end of the non-cancer timeline, she hugs her best friend and she's like, maybe in her head, she's like, maybe the person that's in my dream has been here all along. Because in this one, remember, she's seeing a woman in her dream. She's like, I get the same feeling when I look at Abby, that's her friend, as I do whenever I see the faceless woman. So like, maybe she'll get with her friend. I don't know. But yeah, so it's really good. I like it. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna try and read a few chapters and see. I know myself, so I'm gonna grab my notebook. I'm gonna take some notes, so I don't forget things. But it's going well. I enjoy it so far. They're not chapters, but two parts in. Okay, so I read a few chapters. I think I read four. Well, not chapters, parts. They're essentially chapters. They're chapter sized. Anyway, so I'm about to start page 72 after I take a little break. Um, but, okay, so I have notes. So, in the timeline where she has cancer, she's living with Abby now, right? So Abby's best friend, and she like goes in and she's like, is that my favorite picture on the wall in the bathroom or bedroom? I don't remember which one it is. And she's like, yeah, is this the right one? And then like it talks about like the ice cream, how she gets ice cream and she gets like double triple chocolate and Abby knows, okay, this is when like you have something to tell me. And she's like, is it the cancer? Is it the things about Sue's? Like what is going on? And so like I don't know, Abby just knows her so well. And I know they've been friends for 30 years, but like I don't know, I guess like this is like an instance of like to be loved is to be known kind of thing. Or to be known is to be loved. I don't know which way that goes. But anyway, so she tells her about making out with the dude. And she's like, yeah, I think he kissed back. And like in her head, she's like, it was a damn good kiss. But like, okay, she like left without saying anything to him, which is kind of what you expect when somebody does something stupid. But it's interesting because I'm like, what if he had been like in a relationship or like what if he was like gay or something like that and she just like ran up on him? Like that would have been so weird. Obviously he wasn't, but still. And then their friends come over and um and they are engaged and they're like, I know that like you're going through stuff, but like we thought maybe he would need some good news, you know? And they're like, will each of you be our um best women? And like asks asks Claire, the main character, to sing at the wedding, and she's like, I needed good news, but then also in her head she's like, what if I'm not there? Like what if I don't make it? Um, Such is the truth of having an illness. Anyway, so they come over, okay, whatever. And then and it's funny because everybody is gay. Like I like it's so true that like we all just hang out with each other. Like sometimes I forget that like not everybody has some attraction to like non-hetero people. Okay, anyway, Abby is like after like the friends leave and whatever. Abby's like, you need to talk to this dude. Like, why'd you leave? Like without talking to him? Like what how do you stay how do you get in contact with him? And she's like, no, I didn't talk to him at all. And Abby's like, well, guess what? I have his phone number. And right as she says that, she gets a phone call and it's him. Because obviously he has her phone number too. Well, has Abby's phone number too. So his name is Roddy, which is a name I've never heard of before. And he wants to meet her for coffee to get to know her. Um, and then they like meet up the next day. Like she goes to a doctor's appointment and then she like goes to the coffee shop and at first he doesn't know that it's a woman, but he's like, did you break up with your boyfriend or did he break up with you? And she's like, I broke up with her. And then he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, I'm bisexual. And he's like, oh, like my brother-in-law is bisexual or pansexual, I think. And like, I don't know, why is that the thing? Like, why do people always like, because that's real, that's a reality. Like, that's the thing that happens is like, they can't just be like, oh, okay, cool. It's gotta be like, oh, I know a gay person too. We all know gay people, bitch. We all do. Anyway, okay, so um he gets drinks and like he like kind of reads her mind a little bit. Like she orders tea or she asks him to get tea whenever he like says like I'm going to go get drinks. What do you want? She asks for tea. They didn't have herbal tea, so he got Earl Grey. Nope, not Earl Grey. English breakfast tea and hot chocolate. And in her head, she had been thinking about hot chocolate. Like, oh man, I wish I just asked for hot chocolate, but I shouldn't. Like, you know, dieting and all that stuff. And like, and in her head, she's also like mad at herself. Like, I should also just be happy right now. Like, I should do things to make me happy because like cancer. Um, but he comes back with her two favorite things. Yeah, so that's more proof that this is somebody sent here, for her. Um, and she does kind of have like this internal thought at some point of like when her parents died in a car wreck. Before that happened, um, they said that she'd always be taken care of, like they'd always make sure she's taken care of. And she's like, is this them sending somebody to me? Like, is this faceless person in her dreams? Like, is this somebody that she's going to find? And like now it has a face, or like it's coming into a face or whatever. Like, so she wonders if her parents have sent this guy. So yeah. So as they're talking, she gets a phone call from a doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, you can schedule for your MRI, or we can schedule you for the CT, whatever. And um, she's like, I can't be there in an hour and a half. Like, I have to do like rideshare stuff because I don't drive after the accident, the car wreck that my parents died in. And he's like, I'll take you anywhere. And so like, since they haven't touched their drinks, then he gives a homeless person outside of the restaurant um, her drinks. And then he's like, I'm going to drive you, because he like realizes she doesn't have a car. Um, and then he asks her, and she tells him about the car wreck. Okay. They go to the doctor's office. He goes in with her. He says, by the way, that was one hell of a kiss. They go inside. She has a CT scan. She comes out, and then she cries, and he holds her. Um, I will say some of the conversation feels a little bit robotic. Um, but I don't know if that's just because I don't talk like that, so it just doesn't sound right to me in my head. But it's flowing really well. Okay, so now we're to the non-cancer. So this is same starting point, not cancer. So she decides that she's going to break up with Suze. She's like, this is ridiculous. Like, she doesn't care about me. She goes home, and well, at first, okay, wait. She goes home. It's like, I don't know, she's hung out with Suze a little bit. Nope, she's hung out with Abby a little bit. She goes home, and Suze just doesn't care. Suze doesn't care that she's been gone for like basically almost 2 evenings, or 2 evenings, almost 2 nights. She's like, oh, where have you been? She's like, I've been with Abby. You could have texted me. Um, she like falls, hurts her wrist a little bit, and like Suze just doesn't react. And she's like, you just don't care about me at all. And she goes and stays in the guest room. Um, the next day, her and her friends are talking. It's the same friends. The same friends are still engaged, but there's less of an emphasis on it in this one. They're talking much more about like her relationship with Suze, the turmoil there, and like kind of encouraging her like, hey, maybe you should get this over with. At some point, Abby does leave to go get coffee with her family, and it's like, wait, what? Normally she avoids her family when they come in. So like, what's going on here? But then after this lunch, she's like, I have to break up with Suze. Like, this is ridiculous. And like, they took the day off to just like, her and her boss, who is one of her friends, took the day off to go to this lunch. And she's like, you know what? Like, I do want to break up with Sue. So she goes home, and holy shit, when she has the conversation about breaking up with her, she's like, what are you talking about? Like, we haven't been in a relationship for a while. Sue's just like didn't know. Like, she's like, no, like we had sex once when we first moved in together, and like it didn't go well, so like we just decided not to, remember? And she's like Claire's like, what? You said what? They literally were sleeping in the same bed. What? And then like the last chapter that I read was essentially like she hung out with Abby, and she's realizing she has a crush on her. That's, I mean, like, and it's little things. It's like just the way that she talks, and like we saw like in the beginning of this last chapter that I read, that like she didn't ask right away about what's going on with Abby and her parents, because she just like is so overrun with her thoughts about Suze. And so it's interesting to me, like in in the one timeline where she has cancer, I'm going to say cancer is more important than a breakup, right? I mean, we all know breakups suck, okay? But like, it's interesting to me that in the cancer timeline, she is more worried about her friends and they're more of a priority to her right now than in the timeline where she doesn't have cancer. Um, it's almost like she's realizing like, oh, like she knows the breakup isn't the most important thing. But she's like, oh my God, the breakup. Oh my God, Suze. Oh my God, stress. Um, so she does end up asking Abby about it. Abby's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, she set me up on a date. Like, family set me up on a date. They really want me to like get married, have babies, you know? And we can see Claire gets a little upset about that, but she's like, well, you're still going on dates, so she doesn't know that I have these feelings, you know? I'm intrigued to see how that relationship changes from best friend to relationship. Like this is, I don't know. This is not, it's not an easy transition, I feel like. Because like they've been together for 30 years, like not been together. They've been best friends for 30 years. So like that's like a big change. I feel like it'd be easier to start a new relationship. Like I feel like the cancer timeline would be an easier relationship to start than um, the non-cancer timeline. Though I will say in the cancer timeline, now this guy's coming in and she has cancer. So like she doesn't know what her future holds. Like you can't make commitments, you can't make plans, you almost have to go more in with cancer, like whenever you don't know your future. Because like you can't be like, well, let me just it's slow. We take our time. You might not have time, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how the difference in the relationships are and like there are some things that are staying the same. Like not everything is going to change based off of one thing that happens, but a lot of things change. You know what I mean? Like obviously friends are still engaged. Obviously, like her having cancer or not having cancer doesn't affect who works on the elevator and when. Um, but like as we get farther away, I feel like more things are going to like blossom from this difference. So I'm gonna take a break, but I'll read some later. All right, I'm back. I've read a few more chapters. I am about to start page 105, so about a third of the way through. All right. So, as we're reading, I will say this is definitely more plot driven than it is character driven. Like, obviously, we have the information about the main character, and we have a little bit of information about the, sorry, we have a little bit of information about the friends, right? Like, we know two gay best friends getting married. She works with one of them. The other one goes with her to a concert most of the time whenever she goes. We know that Abby is a lesbian. We're learning more about her family. But like aside from that, we don't really know much about these people. So like they're very two-dimensional, I will say. Um, but if you look back at like my, oh, that was loud. if you look back at like my other videos, I don't think that having two-dimensional characters is necessarily like, going to mean it's a bad book. I I think bad book is very subjective anyway, let's be honest. But in my opinion, I think that like if something is well written, if you are enjoying it, if there is a plot, if there is some aspect that's pulling you in, it's going to be a good book to you no matter what. So for me, I'm very much enjoying the difference between the two timelines and kind of figuring out why why they're different. Like, how is one decision, not one decision, it's not a decision to get cancer. How is one call, one action, one answer, one whatever you want to call this, um, how does that change so many things? So we are seeing that in both timelines, right? Like Abby is planning an engagement party for the two that are getting married. I will say that Claire is more involved with this planning in the one where she has cancer. We see, let's see what else is in both. Um, there's a lot of stuff that's in both. I mean, she still works with these same people. She moves in with Abby in both. She is going through the thought process of like her grief about Sue's in both. Um, so there is some stuff that's in both. I mean, and her parents died in a car wreck 5 years ago. So she's uncomfortable driving. She doesn't have her license. That's in both, right? But then there are some things that are different, right? So it's just like figuring out why. Like it's just intriguing. So that's the fun part. Okay, so in the timeline where she has cancer now, we see her go to a symphony concert. Okay, in both timelines, it says like her dad used to go. They used to donate money to the symphony. She gets the same tickets every single year because that's what her dad did, and she likes to go for his memory essentially and like nostalgia probably. And she takes Isaac with her most of the time. Sometimes the other people come, and Sue's never came because, well, she came once, but she didn't like it. And honestly, I mean, I'm not going to say she's a terrible person, but I'm going to say she was probably like, I wouldn't like her. Anyway, in the one with cancer, right, she knows Roddy, um, and she sits down with Isaac. He remembers his binoculars for the first time ever. She looks through and she sees the cello player is Roddy. She has a panic attack and she runs out. Um, I I don't quite understand why that gave her a panic attack. I don't understand why that even shocking, yes, but like he couldn't see her. So like for me, I'm like, I don't quite understand where it got there, but like, hey, everyone has different triggers and stuff like that. But anyway, she runs out, and then Isaac asks, like, is it because of like, is this something that your dad used to like or whatever? And she's like, yeah, because she doesn't want to talk about it. But she goes home. She tells Abby everything. Um, and then the next day at work, she sees Nate, um, tells him about a date that she has set up with Roddy. Like he texted her and was like, hey, checking in about your results. And also, do you want to go on that date? So she sets up the date and she tells Nate sort of that she has a date. And then he sets up lunch and invites Isaac. And then she tells them essentially everything, but like not everything, right? Like not about the kiss. I can't remember if she said anything about the dream or not, but like whatever. She tells them though about like that stuff. I'm pretty certain she doesn't say that he was a cello player at the symphony. And then later that night, she texts Suze saying, hey, I need to come get the rest of my stuff, and gets no response. And she's like second guessing some things that she's saying. Because remember, in this timeline, she doesn't know that Suze um, didn't think they were together for the past 5 years. Okay. In the other timeline, the one where she doesn't have cancer, she is getting deja vu. Now, I'm intrigued as to why she doesn't have deja vu in the other timeline. So is like, in my brain, that means the cancer timeline is the real timeline and the non-cancer timeline is like the parallel timeline where she's like experiencing things again. I don't know. She's getting deja vu at the concert, and it gives her that panic attack again. So she still has a panic attack whenever she sees Roddy on the in the binoculars, but she doesn't know why. She's like, he seems familiar, weird. Now, one thing that did throw me is in both of the timelines at this point, she talks about the fact that like she sees that faceless person turning into um, a man, a woman, whatever. So like, I don't know. It always throws me whenever people write female instead of woman. I don't know. Maybe that's because like I'm I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but I always get thrown when they say female instead of woman. And in the cancer timeline, it says the faceless person's kind of like looks a little bit like Abby, like kind of like has female characteristics and then looks like Abby and then turns into Roddy. And in the other one, it says like in the non-cancer one, it says like looks masculine and then like turns into Abby. So, okay, that happens in both of them, but like opposite. Okay, and then she panics, she goes out, Isaac follows, says the same thing of like, hey, is this because of your dad? And she says, she even thinks it. She's like, I could lie to him, just not talk about it. But like, she's like, let's just go eat. And then she tells him everything, including the fact that now the faceless person is Abby. Okay. And he's like, please tell her. And she's like, let me just think about it. And please also don't tell Nate until I, figure this out. The next day at work, Nate says that there's an issue with the wedding venue. Um, so they kind of try and figure that out. And she still texts Suze that night about her getting her stuff and gets a response in this one. Intriguing. We also find out that Abby's date that was set up by her mother didn't go well, which Claire's kind of happy about, She's like, but she doesn't say that, whatever. We also find out that her parents are going to like come in and like will ask her about it. So now she's going to be Abby's date to this dinner. And she's also deciding to get her driver's license or wants to get her driver's license and wants some help. And this is to celebrate not having cancer and getting rid of Suze. So again, like there's like things that are like the same and then there's things that are different. So like it's just intriguing that like in the non-cancer version, she's like, you know what, so many things went so well. I think I'm going to get this driver's license again, like face my fears. But in the cancer version, she's like, nope. Nope, at least right now she's not. So I don't know. It's just like the things that are different. It's like it kind of makes me think about like what motivates us. It's like what motivates us to do the things that we do. Because like having cancer, not having cancer has nothing to do with her driving ability. It's just what motivates her. Same thing with the conversation with Suze. It's interesting that like in the cancer version, she's just like, I'm done. I'm out. Bye. And she doesn't even find out that Suze didn't think they were together. Whereas like in the non-cancer version, she's like, she fights it a little bit more. And then she realizes that Suze didn't even think they were together. So I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like thinking too much about it, but like I'm intrigued about now my decisions and why I've decided the things that I decide. or why things even just happen. Like it's other people's decisions based off of your actions that are based off of something that happened. So I don't know. It's very intriguing, and I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. Yeah, and how different it is. I mean, obviously the love interests are different because she didn't even meet the other person, but like she still saw him, she still recognized him. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how things can happen. The butterfly effect, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I'll let you guys know what happens next. Okay, I've read 4 more chapters. Let's see, I'm about to start part 8, which is chapter 153. So I've not read 4 chapters, I've read 4 parts. Um, and it did click why she calls them parts instead of chapters, because the whole point of this is like this is only a chapter of your life. So like this thing happening is only a chapter of your life. And it hit because the in the first part of one of the parts where she has cancer, um, she goes and gets some tests and stuff done, and Abby is like, this is only a chapter, right? Duh, it clicked. And then like also in the other timeline, the non-cancer timeline, she says the same thing, but it's because they saw Suze walking down the road, and it sent her into a panic. But okay, let's see. So we're still seeing things that are similar, things that are different. Um, um, in the cancer timeline, she goes and she gets more tests done, which I told you. This did bring me to some thoughts about MRIs because, like, I don't know if you saw, but there was a guy that, like, wore, like, a chain around his neck and walked into an MRI room and died. Um, and so, like, I'm just, like, sitting here thinking about, like, the rules because I'm like, how do they have speakers in there? Because don't they have metal in them? And then also, like, what do they do if somebody can't get on their stomach for, like these MRIs, like, or, like, even the biopsy machines, you have to like lay on your stomach to get them biopsied, I guess. I don't know, which is weird to me. I mean, I guess it's not because it's like fat and loose, so you have to like have it coming down with gravity's help. But like, I don't know, like what would you do if somebody like can't lay on their stomach, like has severe back problems, or like I don't know, has breathing problems and can't. I don't know. Just those thoughts just popped up. And so I spent like a whole serious like 5 minutes being like, I wonder if this, and I was like, stop you need to keep reading. Anyway, okay, so she gets tests done. She goes home. She gets dressed for the date with Roddy, and Abby's helping. And then the boys came over because they all wanted to meet him. And he did well with like, he's like, hey, I'm just here to learn more about your girl. Anything else is up to her. But anyway, so they go on the date, and his mother showed up, and I don't know if this is the way to pronounce it, but they said it's not August, but it's spelled like August with an E. So I'm going to assume by the way that they were having her pronounce it, it was like Auguste, maybe? I'm not French. But anyway, so she's French. She shows up with his sister as well and embarrasses her. Not sure why she was there. Whatever. And then they share their first real kiss, you know, not on the street randomly. And she invites him in for tea, and then later on, another part, she has more tests, biopsies going on, and she takes a Valium and and it's just local anesthesia. And again, this is getting my brain going because I'm like, for a biopsy, like where they like literally cut you like for like an hour, you're saying that they can't put you under, like even like a light anesthesia. And then like she's like sleeping all day and people are helping take care of her, make sure she's okay and like giving her medicine and stuff. And this is where I noticed that this timeline is going much slower than the other timeline. But I'm also confused because like she wakes up and Roddy is there and he's like, yeah, Nate called me because he had to go in for work. It was an emergency or something like that. Isaac couldn't come and Abby was at dinner with her parents. My brain says, don't they know any other people that they've known for longer? Because like, yeah, she's known him for like a little while, but like they've only met in person 3 times. And like, yeah, he seems nice. But like, if I met a guy one time, I'm not going to be like, hey dude, work emergency. Can you come take care of this unconscious person? Especially unconscious woman that you are attracted to. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I would not. And he took care of her. He took care of her, got her medicine, he made her food, and then his mom showed up uninvited, and he's like, I told her I was going to come take care of you, and then she must have gotten my information from the tracking thing, like Life 360 or something, maybe. So yeah, it was just odd that she could just show up like that. I mean, I guess I get it, but like also like, how do you know the apartment number? It doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Also, again, Abby went to dinner with her parents and she comes home. That's where she's been this entire evening. So now we're in the non-cancer timeline. Okay, so it is going faster. I even noticed like at the top, like it kept saying April, 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 and then like this one says April, May. No, actually this one said May. I think the last one said April, May. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's moving faster. So they already go and they pick up stuff from Suze's house. Now remember in the other timeline, Suze still isn't responding. She's like, I guess we should schedule at some point, like let's just go pick a date and go, but like not responding. In this timeline, she's responded. They set up a time or a date that Suze is at work, and I think it's Nate, Abby, and her go. Maybe Isaac is there too. I don't know. Whatever. They go and they pick up stuff, and she already has it boxed up and set to the side. I'm intrigued as to see whenever we get to that point in the other one if she'll already have the stuff boxed up there too. Okay, and then remember Abby went on like a date with somebody and it didn't really go well. And the parents were like, we want to see you again. Let's go somewhere we can talk. So Abby's like, can you go with me? And so Claire and Abby go to dinner with her parents. So this is the same dinner that Abby was getting back from at the end of everything in the cancer timeline. My my thought is we didn't learn about Abby's date unless I forgot. We didn't learn about Abby's date in the other timeline. So was it not as important? I mean, I guess a date isn't as important as the biopsies and cancer and stuff. So maybe she's just not paying attention, or like Abby's not being as forthcoming because she doesn't want to stress her out. I don't know. But yeah, so they go to dinner, and that's whenever they see, like, Abby's like anxious in general because her parents are pieces of shit, as we will see later. But they see Suze walking down the street, and that's what sends that's what sends Claire into a panic. But after that, seems like she gets over her easier. Like, she even mentions it later, like, actually, I think seeing her and just having her dismiss me made it so much easier for me. So we're happy about that. Also, you can see that she wants to stand up for Abby because her parents are complete assholes. Like, they're just like, they want her to be in a specific job. They want her to date people and have babies and do all this stuff that she doesn't want to do. And like, even her dad like orders for her. Like, he's like, I'm gonna have this, and then my wife's gonna have this, and my daughter's gonna have this. And she's like, actually, I'm gonna have this. And like, Claire is just like, I'm glad she at least stood up for herself a little bit. But like, you can see Claire wants to speak up more, but is giving Abby a chance to first. So that's nice. They're still assholes. Anyway, the next part that we pop into is the surprise dinner. Abby basically planned the entire thing. So in the other timeline, we're not really getting much information other than the fact that there is going to be a surprise party or a party of some sort. We don't have information on who's planning it, what's happening, nothing. So I'm assuming Abby's going to plan all of it in that one. I wonder if it's still going to be the same. In this one, Abby plans it. It's a surprise dinner. There's a bunch of people there. While they're doing stuff, Claire is just like ogling. She's just like, huh? She's like, oh my God, Abby's so beautiful. And then there's dancing at the end. She asks Abby to dance. So yeah. Also, Abby is like, what made you want to dance with me? And she's like, I don't know. And then like, she's like, okay. And then she just like puts her head on her shoulder. And then she's like, do you remember prom? And Claire's like, yeah, like when we danced with each other because nobody else would like we were just dorks or whatever. And she's like, yeah. They just like, she's like, everything's better with you, Claire. And I'm like, has Abby always secretly liked her? Or like, just been like, yeah, I love my best friend, but like, it's okay that she doesn't love me back? Or is this like a, oh, I'm growing feelings too thing? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the other timeline though, because like maybe that'll be like a fast forward chapter 2 thing of like, yeah, I've always loved you, but I'm glad that you're happy, and I'm also happy with somebody else. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so there's been things that are the same. There's been things that are different. Again, this just has me thinking of like how many little things change based off of everything that happens. Like every single thing. Because there are things that are the same, but like there are also so many things that are like she met a whole family that she wouldn't have met if she didn't have cancer. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's intriguing to me. I do find this very intriguing. I will say it does feel robotic at times, almost like because there are two timelines, she's wanting to emphasize this is a difference, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It does help with like somebody who has memory issues like me, like seeing it and being like, oh yeah, no, it is obvious that this thing happened in this timeline and didn't in the other, or the deja vu aspect, things like that. But overall, like I'm enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying the, I don't want to call it slow burn with Abby, but like kind of. I'm also intrigued by the relationship with Roddy. I will say it's very unconventional. Also, still definitely a little uncomfortable with the fact that her friends were just like, yeah, hey, can't find anybody else that we know to watch, so you're a stranger. He's still a stranger. I know she's going on dates with him, but he's still a stranger. I would never, ever be like, hey, stranger, come watch my unconscious friend. But it is a romance novel. we have to make allowances. And he did very good. So I have other things I have to do right now. So I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to pop back in. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this book today. Fingers crossed. If not, it will be tomorrow because I need to finish this book before book club. Whew. Okay, so instead of my normal 4 chapters, this time I read 6 because, as you could tell, my cat was laying on me, and honestly, I just couldn't. I couldn't move him. Illegal. Okay. Also, it's getting later. That's why the light is now yellow. Okay, so surprisingly, a lot and a little has happened at the same time. We're in June in both timelines. I am struggling just a little bit with how forced some actions feel. It's almost like this is where I want it to go, so I'm going to make it go there instead of figuring out how it goes there naturally. But I also don't know if that's just because I wouldn't act like her. Like, I don't see the motives of the things that she's doing. Um, maybe. Um, but okay. So in the cancer timeline, she goes to the doctor, Roddy's with her. Again, seems strange to me. I feel like, yes, there is like this, like you have all or nothing when you're sick. I still feel like it's a little weird that he's there with her all the time because like he just went from not knowing this person to being like, I'll go to your doctor's appointments with you. But on the other hand, I also know people who care enough about people that would just automatically do this. I mean, I probably would do it depending, like if I really felt like something with somebody. I don't know. Anyway, so oh yeah, it did fast forward to June in this one too. So we didn't even see the engagement party in this one. We didn't see a lot of the things that happened in the other timeline in this one. So I think this just goes to show too, like whenever something like this is happening, then although you feel strongly about people in your life, some things just aren't as important as literally surviving. Um, we did find out that Isaac and Nate haven't set a date for the wedding because they're trying to figure out her treatment schedule and planning it around that. Um, they go to a donor event and talk to Roddy, and because he's like, it's a donor event for the orchestra and stuff, and he gets to play. So she gets to see him play. And while she's watching him, she kind of gets like pulled into the other timeline. Like she can literally see it. And then she starts to like realize like, oh, I could die. Which honestly, that's whenever I was like, okay, like I feel this. Like, yeah, I've been there before. And like realizing like you're sick. Oh shit. Um, she gets her cancer removed. And Abby and Roddy take care of her. And there is one part that like made me laugh so hard. I don't know if it's ADHD or if it's bisexual, but like this was hilarious. Roddy keeps getting her two drinks. Like he's like, I didn't know which one you wanted. And so she's like, I don't know if it's because I'm a bisexual that he just thinks that I can't like make a decision. And then she's like, but actually like maybe that's true. And so so I was like, yeah, same girl. Um, okay, so this is also another thing that I saw is like I like the way, and I can tell that like Heather Tracy, the author, like she says that she has had cancer before, and so like um I can tell that she's been sick before because like there is like there's just little things like thrown in of like yeah, it's getting kind of annoying that they keep asking if I'm okay because I'm not and I don't want to think about it. Or like they're making such a big deal out of everything. They're staring at me with concern in a way that's like, please stop. I'm not going to break. Yes, I'm sick, but I'm not going to fall apart. I'm not made of glass. But also I need help. And like balancing that is very, 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 very hard. And so like that that part, like I just like felt that really hard, I will say. And then so after she gets her cancer removed, they're taking care of her. Roddy stays the night. And then like later on he invites her to a family dinner with um his mom and his sister and then they're like his dad, his brother-in-law. The interesting thing to me was um the brother-in-law answered and was like, "Oh yeah, haha, glad there's another bisexual here. Now they won't make fun of me for how I sit." And it's like it was just like, okay, but like in what reality would somebody be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the girl I'm gonna date or the girl I'm dating now is bisexual." Like I don't know. Maybe that's me. I feel like normally people don't talk about that, and so like that, or like if they do, then it wouldn't be the first thing that somebody says to somebody. So that was a little like, okay, so there's other bisexuals here. Like it felt like a dart, like being like, I have to tell people there's bisexuals in this place. I have to tell people there's other gay people in this book. Um, and then we also find out that Roddy's relationship, his last relationship, ended 5 years ago. She freaks out about that because she's like, 5 years ago, everything changed. That's when I started having the dreams. That's when my parents died. That's when your relationship ended, like things like that. And so like she does freak out. Now, all of this, I'm not feeling it very much right now. Maybe it's because I'm tired, but I just don't feel the emotions as much. It feels pretty forced on this end for me. Um, I am enjoying the exploration of her illness and her processing it. Um, and we have had a couple more dreams that come in that like are showing her things that could happen with this this faceless person, which in this one is probably Roddy, right? So in the non-cancer timeline, she and Abby start working out together because I don't know, after they dance at the engagement party, she kind of avoids Abby because she's like, I don't know how to look at her right now. And Abby's like, I'm gonna make you look at me. I'm gonna make you dance with me. And so like they work out. Um, she goes to that benefit dinner, same benefit dinner. She feels called to go, even though in this one she doesn't have Roddy to go see. She feels called to go still, and she has the same thing happen. She has that deja vu, and she sees that happen. Um, she's thinking about this alternate reality and she's like, whoa. She handles it a lot better in this one though. She doesn't start breaking down and crying. Obviously she doesn't have the trigger of feeling like she could die someday. So there is that. They go shopping for dresses, and she like full on panics seeing Abby in a tux because that's the lady in her dream, obviously. And then in a dream, also another dream, instead of wearing a tux, now the faceless person is wearing the same outfit that she knows that she's seen Abby in college. So she goes and finds that picture and she's like, oh my gosh. She goes out and she finds out that the parents have hooked her up with somebody again. Um, she doesn't have the guts to tell her about it because of that. She's like, I can't. She's already upset about her parents. I can't tell her about this thing. Um, she chickens out a little bit. She's like, can you take me driving? So they go driving for the first time. Again, this is not happening in the other timeline. She is not confident enough to go driving in the other timeline. And then, honestly, she's at work. Nate sees her zoning out and is like, I know you're in love with Abby. And he just has this whole conversation with her of like, you need to tell me everything. You need to tell her everything because she's about to go on a date. And also, you know you're in love with her. So she talks to Abby. She tells Abby everything. And Abby's like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like, at first she thinks it's going to be Sue's in the thing. She's like, oh, who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think is this faceless person? And she's like, Claire's like, well, I think it's going to be, I think it's, and she's like, if you say it's blah, 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 blah. She gets upset. She thinks it's Sue's. And then Claire's like, no, I thought it was you. And then she's like, oh my God, really? Oh, what a relief. I've had a crush on you since college. But I honestly thought you were straight at first. And then when you did start dating women, they were like gothic. So like, not me. Um, and then that's it. That they don't go anywhere from there yet. We're paused. But I think, okay, so like, here's the thing. I think that if I read this the way that Ellen's reading it like she's reading the one timeline and then the other timeline, I think one of two things would happen. Either one, I would have actually gotten invested into one timeline a lot more and like dove into it and like felt more connected, or maybe I'd still feel disconnected and I don't think I'd want to keep reading it as much. Um, Honestly, I think being able to visualize the differences is the reason I'm enjoying this as much as I am, because I'm like, oh, this is highlighting that this one thing changing separates us, changes our lives this much, right? Like it's not just like, oh, hey, you have cancer and now you get to do less stuff until you heal. It's like, oh, you have cancer and you meet a whole new family. The whole different lover, the whole different relationship. It's going to be a whole different future, right? Um, and obviously that's not all the changes that happen, but like, I don't know, that part has me thinking. And I think that's what's tying this together for me. By no means do I think this is a bad book, but it does, I'm struggling with it a little bit because I'm not feeling the emotions that I know that she's putting in this. And I think it's because these aren't the emotions that I would have given the context that we have, if that makes sense. But I'm not done. Let me see where I am. I'm only about to start page 215. So I have about 100 pages left, which is, let's see, I'm going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 more parts per timeline. And then we have 2 chapters that are, I don't know if it's both or if it's, I don't know. They're not under chapter 1 though. So I'm intrigued. As of right now, I think that it's like if somebody was like into like sci-fi stuff, I'd be like, hey, you should check this out. but I don't think I'd hand it to somebody that's like, I want a romance. That's the difference, I think, is I'm intrigued, but I'm not emotionally invested. All right, I think I'm to the stopping point for the night. It's getting dark. And though I love this light in this room, like very dining room-esque, kind of doesn't help you read very much. And I don't feel like moving my station. Um, anyway, I have gotten to page 273, so part 14. I'm only 40-ish pages from the end. Not too much has happened in the last four-ish, I think it's 4 chapters. In the Cancer timeline, she goes on a date with Roddy. It's just a normal date. She goes to his place afterwards. He plays piano. It reminds her of his dad. Like, it reminds her of her dad. And so she cries and she tells him everything. She tells him about the dreams. She tells him everything. So there's just weird connections. Like, we find out like he played the song that her dad, like the exact time, the exact show, at this exact theater. Like, he was the guest person that played the cello that for this piece that her dad like went on about until he died. It's like little connections that you're like, oh, okay, so like they were like always meant to be, right? They weren't, obviously, because other timeline does exist. She has her first chemo and he helps her through everything and he's super patient with her, even though she's like, I don't think I can go through that. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't do this. I don't think I can do this. He's like, you can, and we're all here for you. Abby does go on a second date. So in the other timeline, she goes on a date and she goes on it once and she's like, we didn't have a connection. That same person, she goes on a second date with her. So I wonder if they're going to end up together. She finishes her chemo. And then like they're talking about side effects of the medicine she has to take after the chemo. And she's just like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, this is going to affect like sex. This is going to affect like everything. And he's just like, okay, what can we do to like minimize this? Like, she doesn't feel like shit. Like, he's not thinking about it the way that she's thinking about it, which honestly, like, as somebody, so I have a chronic illness, right? And like, it's not quite like chemo where it's like, it's not like cancer where it's like you don't have symptoms and then all of a sudden like you have a starting date and then like you're you are changed after this point. It's kind of like a transition, right? But like in the experiencing side effects thing or like just not knowing what's going to happen to your body tomorrow or the next day or next month or next year, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, it is so hard to like not feel like a burden, to not feel like the other person is going to be annoyed or frustrated or hurt or like discouraged or burdened by your symptoms, by you experiencing this thing that you have no control over. And so like I think that's what she's kind of going through here. He doesn't care. I mean, he cares because she's going to go through it, but he doesn't care on his end, it seems. Um, and then after she's done with chemo, um, he surprises her with a handmade by his sister dress. Um, it's beautiful. It's green, just like the engagement. Nope, just like the bridesmaid's dress that she got in the other timeline. Because we're just now getting to the engagement party, so we didn't skip it. It just got pushed back. So I think that like just like with the wedding itself, they pushed things back to like go along with her treatment a little bit. So that was very sweet. Okay, so now non-cancer timeline. Um, we already know that Abby's parents are setting her up with girls and also just being like, you should be a lawyer and you should do all this shit and because this is what we want you to do. So Claire goes with her and she like and Abby's like, no, I only went on one date with that person. Like both of the people you set me up with, I only went on one date because like we didn't connect. None of it connected. And like the dad's like, of course you didn't. Blah. And then like I don't know, he says something like, we should have tried for a son or something like that. And that's when Claire is just like, I'm done. Because like we could see earlier, she was like, let's let Abby kind of deal with this herself, see what she wants me to do. And then eventually Claire's like, done, we're done. And so she like tells off the dad. And then Abby's like, yeah, you know what? Claire's right. I'm done with you until you change your actions. And like they leave and then Abby makes out with her and then is like, will you be my girlfriend? And of course, like all gay relationships, immediate. I mean, she's already living with her. It's fine, yeah. There's more in this section and like this timeline. There's more information about her at work. Like, yes, we do hear about work a little bit in the other timeline, but it's not the same. Like in this one, it's very much like there are random days. You know, not a day for me. But like there's like random days where she's like at work and she's dealing with shit. Okay. So while she's at work, she gets a call from Abby's mom, and Abby's mom is like, I just want to talk to her, just me. Like I always wanted her to have a better life than I've had. That's why I pushed her so hard. Like I didn't mean to do this. Like I was just trying to make life easier for her. And Claire's like, okay, but like, why'd you do this then? And she's like what, like what exactly about life did you want her to have that you don't have? And Abby's mom is like, love. So now we're seeing like, I don't know if they're going to meet up or not, but we're seeing that maybe Abby's mom is just not happy with her life. And then it ends with the wedding. So they have the wedding at the exact same time as in the other timeline, they're having the engagement party. So she walks into the wedding, like they're like going up together, like her with one of the grooms and then Abby with the other groom. They go up and she looks over and she sees Roddy as the cellist. And she's like, I recognize him. He's the one from the symphony. He's the one that I saw in like she's calling it ghost dreams, but like in the other timeline. She like sees the other timeline. And so like my thought is like she's going to see him all the time no matter what. Like she was meant to see him. She was meant to meet him. I wonder if she's ever going to communicate with him or talk to him or do anything with him. Because like in my brain, this is a sign that maybe her parents wanted her to be with him in some way. Not necessarily like, hey, no to Abby, but like more so like in the same way that Abby will always be in her life in the cancer timeline. I wonder if they wanted Roddy to be in her life in the non-cancer timeline. I don't know. I don't know. But she's accepting the other timeline a little bit more in the non-cancer timeline, she's accepting it a little bit more. She's even trying to like see if Abby can see it. But yeah, so I'm still feeling like I'm still feeling like I'm not as engrossed into the like emotions of each timeline of each story as much as I would want to be if I saw this as a pure romance. But I'm viewing it as a sci-fi more so than anything. And so like that's really keeping me intrigued. I'm interested to see because like I'm looking at like the contents, which you can barely see. Got it. If you look at the contents, it like has chapter 1 has like one page that says unwritten and then a bunch of parts, which is like the things that I'm reading right now, until page 293, and then it has Dream On, which is still under chapter 1, and that's a good 9 pages, 8, 9 pages, before we get to chapter 2, which is like 12 pages. So like I'm wondering, like, since it's saying this is only a chapter, obviously, like, the timelines are split. Like, we know, like, the timelines are two very different things, but they do have overlapping stuff. So I wonder if it's like, okay, I'm going to be with these two different people, but, like, now that the wedding's over, and now that like, chemo's over, and now that, like, I'm with the person that I love, something happens that was going to happen no matter what, and they, like, almost converge. It's just with a different person, maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow morning because I'm not reading anymore tonight because I'm tired. I'm done. I finished the book. Okay, let me get my notes. All right. So this was, I think, just 2 chapters, one each of the timelines, and then 2 chapters that are after. Okay. So in the cancer timeline, she's doing radiation treatments. She decides, you know what, after this, I'm going to go get my license because she's seeing how much of a toll it's taking on her friends and family to friends that are family to take her to treatments. And that also made me think, can you drive yourself to radiation treatments? I, for some reason, I thought you couldn't drive yourself to those. So whatever. Anyway, she went to PT because she has to go to PT to make sure like things keep working right and everything. And she actually ran into Suze. Suze was there because the day that Claire left, Suze got into an accident. She was hit by a car, and she had a bunch of surgeries and stuff. So that's why every time that Claire texted her, she didn't respond. And then she's like, "Why are you here?" And so Claire's like, "Well, I had cancer," and like Suze is like, "I didn't even know." And so like Suze is like, you were my emergency contact still. I don't know how you didn't know. I guess I should have known that like that's the only reason that you didn't show up because I know you would have even if it was weird, you know. But now Suze has a girlfriend and she's calling her her girlfriend, which she never did with Claire. And she's like seems happier, I guess. So that's something. Also, Roddy tells her that he has a thing with Josh Groban, like an offer to be the cellist in his tour, and he wants her to come with him. It's like a European tour, so cool. And then in the non-cancer timeline, she's working with Nate on like coming up with a plan for a bunch of seniors, and they say, you know what, we're excited about this, but we want her to come with us. So it's just a month, but it's the following year, and like, yeah. So she's like, it's Ireland too. So um, she tells Abby about it, and Abby's like, oh my god, I actually want to come with you. Okay. They also meet at Abby. They tell Abby about it. She tells Abby about it, and she's actually like, oh my god, I want to go. So they actually meet with Abby's mom. And right after everybody blew up at the restaurant, she kicked she kicked Abby's dad out, and was like, ultimatum, I'm done. And so she apologizes a bunch. They do counseling together. Great. At this lunch thing, they see Suze. Only in this one, she's still dismissive. She's just like pumping away on her computer. She's like, cool, 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 cool. And then just like goes back to it. She doesn't really care. So it was kind of like like the life or death shit. Like it really just makes you reflect, you know? And then right after these two timelines, right after this part, the two timelines kind of converge. So there's like a dream section, like a part where it's just the dreams, and it's like the cancer Claire is meeting with her dad, and then the non-cancer Claire is meeting with her mom. And essentially, they're like, yeah, we sent you the dreams because like these are the only two timelines we could see. Maybe it's because like these are the only two timelines that like we weren't here. We don't know. We honestly don't know, but like we knew that we had to send you people that would help you. And so the dreams were just a way to like kind of nudge you in the right way of like the people that would be best for you in this timeline. So that was kind of cool. And then like they all say goodbye and they're like, you don't need the dreams anymore because you've gotten to where you need to be. We don't know if you're still going to be able to see through the timelines or not. We don't have any clue, but like, we love you, essentially. So they say goodbye. They have their night, whatever. They both wake up with their respective partners. And then it fast forwards a little bit to the trips. So the non-cancer Claire goes on the trip to Ireland, brings Abby with her, and then at the end, they actually end up proposing to each other, which is adorable. They're on the cliffs of Ireland, and they propose. Adorable. We love this. And then in the other timeline, Claire's just getting to explore a little bit while Roddy is on his tour. Like they get to be in a new place every couple days. And also in Ireland, there's an emergency. The person that sings with Josh Groban is like has laryngitis or something like that. And so he's like, she can't perform. I thought of you. You have an amazing voice. You're the best voice I've ever heard. And so she's like, okay, because her parents told her to take life by the horns, essentially. And so she performs with Josh Groban, and then afterwards, Roddy proposes. So honestly, I mean, like, I will say, like, the ending got me more emotionally than, like, the ending of, like, the one with Roddy got me more emotionally than anything else did because it's just like, oh, she got to, like, do her dream, you know? I still say this wasn't a very emotional book for me, though. Normally, any talk about death, any talk about cancer, I would be bawling. It did feel just a little formulaic. I know that Heather is an amazing editor, so I'm gonna assume like it's just like whatever you know, like where the algorithm needs to be, and then you just kind of like you're like, yes, step one, step two, step three. That's how it felt, um, emotionally. But when it comes to the two timelines, I honestly like it just got me thinking. Like I think that's the most important thing. Like it doesn't matter how amazingly or how terribly a book is written. It's does it get you thinking? Does it get you feeling? Does it get you one of the things, right? It needs to push something in you. And like this didn't hit my emotional, but it did hit my logical. It did hit my thought processes. Like had me thinking about like every single choice that I make. Like and like as an organizer, I'm always like just be intentional about the things you put down. Be intentional about the things that you're doing. That's the only way that you can be sure that like your space is how you want it to be. And so now I'm like, oh, that actually can be for real life, right? Um, which I know that like people have told before, like don't just go through life, actually like make decisions, be intentional, and your life will be so much better. But I don't know, it just made me think about every single thing that's happened in my life. Some things that are in my choices, some things that are out of my choices, right? Um, and how much differently my life would be. Like if I had left that ex when I probably should have, um, would I be with the most amazing boy that I'm with right now? Or if I hadn't moved down to North Carolina, would I have met some of the amazing people that I have gotten the chance to meet and started two amazing businesses? I don't know. Um, and if I hadn't had a chronic illness that popped up and started flaring up in 2018, would I have the emotional depth that I have right now? Because I do think that like having life or death experiences does trigger that, oh my God, I'm not the only one here. And the, oh my gosh, I might not live forever feeling. So like that, that really hit me with that. So I do think that this is a good book. Um, let me tell you my rating scale. So for those of you who haven't watched my show, my channel before, and if that's the case, you should go back and do that because I've read some really cool books. Um, my rating scale is 1 is I did not finish. This doesn't mean I picked it up for like a page and put it down. This means like I truly tried to get into it and just like couldn't. So did not finish is 1. 2 is struggled to finish. So I kept having to like force myself to get back into it. 3 is it's an average book. Take it, leave it, cool. 4 is I would recommend it to anybody. And 5 is I wish I could read this for the first time again. Very few are 5s for me, I will say. Like I am truly like I maybe it's the logic brain. Maybe it's just the engineering statistics in me. But like I do truly have a lot of 3 books because they are average. And that doesn't mean it's a bad book. A 3 is not a bad book. 3 is a good book. It just means it didn't stick with me emotionally. I'm going to give this a 3. Um, I was leaning a little bit 2.5 until the end because probably partially because I'm trying to finish this like so quickly, but also partially because it just like it did feel very formulaic and like I was like once I got the feelings of like thinking about the 2 different timelines, um, I I was kind of like, okay, well, cool, that's where this is going, and I kind of like checked out a little bit emotionally. But towards the end, it did hit me. I'm like, okay, so they do kind of converge still. Like she still has an amazing life. Um, in both of them, like this is great. I don't know. It tied it together in the end in a way that made it a good 3 for me. Now, would I recommend this book? Yeah, but I just wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my God, all my friends in book club, you have to read this book. Um, but I do think it's a good book. I think it's interesting. I think it really makes you think. Um, and again, I don't know. Maybe I'm just defensive about my rating scale because I've been seeing it so often on like the Libby Facebook groups that it's like everything's a 5 unless I didn't like it. And I'm like, that's not how rating scale works, but I don't know. 3 for me is average though. It means it's a good book. I'm I think that other people would definitely see more in this than I did because I just don't relate to the main characters as much. Um, So it's a 3 for me. Um, but I mean, I will recommend it to you because I want to see your thoughts on it, and also because it is our first queer book club, our first Queer Alina book club um, book of the month, and I'm excited to see what everybody else thinks about it. So here you are, only a chapter by Heather Tracy. And you should also go to their publishing site because it's a lot of small local authors. I mean, local to me at least. Um, but it's not Amazon. You're not supporting Amazon. You're supporting the authors and the publishing company that's helping keep queer authors out there, right? And they publish, I think it's one book a month. Maybe they do more than that sometimes. Most of the time, it's one book a month, and that's spacewizardsciencefantasy.com. So you should definitely check them out. They're really cool. They're amazing people. I love them. And this was cute. This was a very cute book. Um, yeah. So maybe you can explore how one phone call could change your life forever. So enjoy. And you should like, comment, and subscribe to help me. And also, when you're commenting, you should tell me some other books that I should read because I'm a glutton for punishment. But okay, thank you so much. I love you all. Goodbye.